I came across this quote on some YouTube video, and it struck me so hard I took a screenshot of it. First, I had to see, did the Charles Darwin really say this? The context of it seems that if he had listened to more music and read poetry, basically this would have brought him more happiness. I mean, good God, if Darwin said that, well, first of all, since the guy died in 1882, interestingly enough, he wouldn't be listening to this music on Spotify, but he'd be actually going to see live classical music, which was really pop music at the time. Anyway, I digress. My point is, dudes and dudettes, what are we doing with this life? I feel like so many of us are going to be like Charles Darwin at the end of our lives, wishing we just listened to more music and read poetry more. Let's be financially free so we can listen to music and read poetry more, or whatever version of that kind of happiness means to you. But until we're financially free, and the reason why I took a screenshot of that quote, and why it reverberated with me is because we should now, and not in 5 or 10 years, but now, start setting aside one day of our lives each week to listen to that music and read that poetry that Charles Darwin wishes he had done. The reason this quote really struck a nerve with me is because, as I get older, I started doing this once a week. For the past 6 years, I've started carving out a day once a week where I do whatever the bleep I want, whether that's listening to music, playing games, scrolling mindlessly online, eating junk food, whatever gives me that pleasure. There are several reasons why I do this once a week. Because we live in a workaholic society, where especially if you're a freelancer like me, many of us freelancers are workaholics because if we stop working, then we stop making money. And so many freelancers can't afford that. So their brain over many years of working tirelessly never take a day to rest. And usually what happens? Well, it happened to me in September 2019, and that was a strong burnout that, to be honest, I'm still recovering from sometimes. And it was in that moment, September 2019, that I realized if I don't take a day, at least one day a week, to give myself permission to do absolutely whatever I wanted with my time, and not feel the pressure of getting things done. If I didn't do this once a week, then I knew I would just burn out for the rest of my life. Which comes to my second point. If I had kept working and never took breaks, I knew that at any time I could drop dead at any moment. Not to sound worst case scenario, but the biggest thing we have to deal with, I would argue, not even so much death, but the constant uncertainty that is with us every hour, minute, and millisecond of our lives, of not knowing what will happen to us in the next moment. There is nothing you can do or say to prove with 100% certainty that at any given moment our lives will change for the worse, and of course for the better, by some freak accident or random thing. So that is why I realized that I need time during the week, like Darwin wishes he did, to just stop. Just stop. Don't work. Do what you want. It has taken sacrifice to carve out this one day a week. And this one day a week is a sacred day. I don't even tell people who know me that I do this, because I don't want people to trample over the sacred day each week. I want to literally be left alone to do what I want on this day, which could include exploring my part of the world, going to a bookstore, taking a nap, whatever. For you, it could be different of what you do with this day. And yes, this one day a week could be sharing it with other people if you wanted. For me, it's usually a time of seclusion and self-reflection. But I guess what this one day a week really is a day to be free. This day of freedom could mean working, if that's what you want to do. Working on something you love if you want. It can literally be anything you can imagine that is obtainable by you. If you can carve out that one day a week, I promise it'll make your whole week better, and it'll give you something to look forward to. Everyone is different. I'm sure a lot of people will say, why stop at one day? Why not a whole weekend, or 4 days to do whatever you want? Well, many people can't afford to have more than one day a week of freedom. I would bet that most people don't even have this one day of complete freedom. I bet so many people are in situations they don't want to be in, whether that's being financially trapped, having to work long hours, being burned out from taking care of sick loved ones, whatever it may be. I bet so many people can't even have this one day to themselves. That's why even Darwin wishes he could have listened to music or read poetry once a week. Maybe he didn't want to do it for a day, maybe just a few hours a week would have made him exponentially happier. Let's all get to this point. Whether that's 1 day, 2 days, 4 hours, whatever, let's get to where we can all do what Darwin wishes he had done. I argue that 1 day a week is a sweet spot in our lives, in this busy and wild modern world that we live in. Because for me, and this is important I mention it, this 1 day a week doesn't include spending time with family or chilling with others. that's set aside for other times during the week. I'm an introvert at heart, and my one day a week is usually alone. It's how I recharge. I'll also be posting ways to get financially, physically, and mentally free, so you can get this one day a week to do whatever you want. We also need those two other things, physical freedom and mental freedom, along with financial freedom, all working together to be truly free in this modern world. Without one of them, the other two will usually fall apart. Welcome to the channel Fascinating, where my goal is to help other people out by giving them tips and ideas for life, finance, and a different perspective. Yes, this is my real voice and ideas, but this is not an AI voice or AI-generated ideas. I feel like I need to say that in this day and age. But yes, I do use images with the help of AI. If you like what you hear, please like and subscribe to this channel so I can get paid by ads and I can keep creating content for you.